would be remiss if we didn't talk about what is going on in the LCS on both sides.
We'll be remiss for other reasons.
Yeah, I mean, granted, our podcast has moved into the off-season mode for our
Yeah,
teams, but we're still
dramatically.
watching baseball and enjoying these matchups. And um, I think I'll start off with, since we're coming off of Jock Peterson, and that we'll start off with the Braves and Dodgers, which, as you pointed out earlier, Smitty, is not that different from the Dodgers Giants series. But I feel like the Braves are pouring on more runs at times when they need to. They've won like 5-4 and that, but it's been pretty back and forth, and 3-2 going home with an intriguing matchup in Game 6. Scherzer, who went 4 1/3 in his first outing against my favorite Atlanta play in Ian Anderson, who's thick as a brick.
Oh no, we're
He
doing more Jethro Tull
he
references.
he only lasted 3 innings after having a very good regular season. So
3 innings is pretty long in these playoffs, though.
yeah, well, I mean, especially for White Sox pitchers. But yeah, so Scherzer, maybe after having the save and coming back, maybe he was a little fatigued. I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see how they both fare in this game.
I don't see
Game
how
6.
I don't see how the Braves can lose 2 games at home. They're
I
going to
don't
win one of
either,
these. So
but
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say the Braves are going to be in the World Series. But I mean, crazier things have happened. So
yeah, speaking of crazy, last night Chris Taylor made history or something. He had 3 home runs in an LCS game or something.
yeah,
I guess, and the RBI count was. It's interesting. Like it seems more and more history is getting made because you dig deeper and deeper to pull out something in baseball statistics to make it historic.
yeah.
Then you start to question how historic is it really. So I saw an interesting thing. Just they listed the top 5 like hardest the players who hit the ball the hardest in the playoffs, and I'm happy to report this is a semi off topic that the White Sox, Eloy Jimenez, is holding on to the number 4 spot right now,
Oh,
still
congratulations,
at a
Eloy.
53.6% hard hit ball rate in the playoffs. So thanks for hanging on to the LCS, into the LCS, Eloy, keeping the White Sox name out there. So never forget.
Who
So
is this White Sox you were referring
right,
to? I don't
exactly.
remember.
Is that a team?
Sounds
Yeah.
vaguely familiar.
So I'm with you. I don't see the Dodgers winning 2 games in Atlanta, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
But I think the Dodgers hopefully will be talking about how their big World Series win was in a 60-game season. Wah,
Ooh, yeah,
wah.
that's going to be an interesting narrative that will go forward if they do not make the World Series or win it. That they have the asterisk, the
Yes.
unfortunate asterisk. But speaking of asterisks, should we talk about the ALCS involving the Houston Astros and
Uh,
Boston Red Sox?
Definitely. And this looked like we were swinging all Boston as they split in Houston and
Yeah.
we're hitting the shit out of the ball and we're coming back home. And you were like, then they win the first game and you're like, shit, they're going to just, this is going to be a roll me over.
Well,
And
mainly because Houston's starting rotation is in complete shambles with the I mean, is McCullers out for the entire season now? Or
he is out for the entire season. It's been announced.
okay.
They have not said anything about the elbow,
I mean,
despite our theories. They said it's strictly forearm related, but I don't see
yeah.
how that would cause you to be shut down all the way through the
Yeah.
World Series.
Anytime there's a forearm issue, you immediately think elbow. I mean, that's just how these things work. So they can say whatever they want, but and maybe they don't need to say anything during
Yeah, they
during
don't.
the
They
playoffs,
don't.
so that's fine. But
There's no reason to say anything. That's
I
what
mean,
I thought. I thought there's no reason to say anything right now. Why even bother?
I mean, there was potential that he was going to be their, game 1, 4, and 7 starter in this series. That,
Right.
he's been that dominant. So that's just a brutal hit. I forget who their number 2 guy, Garcia. I believe he's out now too. So you just saw their starting pitching was crumbling. So it's like, well, Houston doesn't have a shot now. And it didn't look like it after they lost in Houston, and then they come back to Boston and they go up 3-1. It's crazy, like how the momentum has shifted. I did not see
Well,
Houston's offense going.
3-2.
Is it 3-2 now?
Yeah, because Boston won the first game against the guy who was originally supposed to pitch in what became the rain delayed,
Oh,
the
that's right.
postponed White Sox game,
Wow.
Urquidy, whose ERA is currently 27. So we clearly understand why Dusty did not pitch him when he was able to give McCullers the extra day's rest. But the extra day's rest on 4 days rest may have screwed him over for a possible World Series victory, and maybe not making it to the ALCS through the ALCS. But now you got to figure all of these Houston pitchers ERA is considerably lower at home.
Yeah.
So it's Houston's series to lose now, leading 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that too. Similar situation to the Braves going home with just needing to win one of 2 at home, but it comes back to starting pitching again. Like who are they throwing out there? And I didn't expect the Astros to be able to get this far with the pitching. So I don't really know what to expect in this one at all. It's going to be fascinating. They play tonight, don't they? Is that the ALCS tonight? So
Garcia's pitching tonight with his 45 ERA in the playoffs so far. So
see, I thought he was hurt, so maybe I got the wrong name there. But yeah, or maybe he was just they assumed he was hurt because he was pitching so poorly. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to call this one now. I mean, do I need to make a prediction? I'm gonna stick with the Astros, I guess. Did you have rooting interests going into either of these league championship series? I think at this point, I don't care about any of the teams.
I had Braves. I like the Braves. I liked the Braves kind of at the beginning of the season just for fun. Okay. Just for fun, I picked St. Louis just because it would be such a great storyline. But I always liked the Braves from the beginning of the season. And to be honest with you, I just don't like the Houston organization.
No,
after
with
what
good
happened.
reason. Yeah.
And I have no love for the Red Sox, but at this point, I mean, and they got the catalyst of the sign stealing running their team allegedly. So, the manager,
Alex Cora.
I was going to say Joey Cora, the White Sox. I knew that was wrong.
Guy.
Alex Cora running the team. So, like, I don't know, but I really don't want to see the Astros in the World Series, to be honest with you. I don't like Dusty Baker either.
The only thing I'm basically rooting for storyline, since I have no rooting interest in any of these 4 teams, but there's reasons to hate them all, basically, is what I've come down to. But I think the most interesting scenario would be the Dodgers and Houston to replay the 2017 controversial World Series to find out
true.
what true justice is. Who the best team I hate is. So that would have been an interesting storyline at least. But I think, like we mentioned earlier, like if the Dodgers don't even make it to the World Series, what does that mean for their legacy? And that they've won the division, except for this year. They had won it 8 years in a row, I think, and made the playoffs, but had only that one World Series. And that one World Series was in a shortened 60-game season. So if they don't get it done this year, it's like, what have they been doing for the last decade, spending more money than everyone else and having a better development system, farm system than anyone else, and yet it's only produced one questionable World Series. So I mean, the Red Sox, 20 years ago, I was interested in the Red Sox just because they were the similar boat as the Cubs, the downtrodden team that could get close but never get over the hump. But they're essentially the Yankees now. They spend as much
Yeah,
money as
it's
anybody. They
yeah,
have
yeah,
4
true.
championships in the last 20 years. So
Yeah.
they're not lovable losers in any way. So I don't root for them, but I don't, maybe I don't hate them as much as some people do. So I guess I'd be happy enough or interested enough in a World Series that included the Red Sox. One interesting aspect of the Red Sox is the performance of Kike Hernandez. Not sure how familiar you are with that name prior to
Well,
this
the
off
Dodgers
season.
last year.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like Kike Hernandez just reminds me of a name that I said I would refuse to say in this podcast over and over again, but I'm gonna have to bring it up again because he just reminds me of Marco Scutaro so
Your boy.
much. A journeyman, a journeyman hitter that has suddenly become the most dangerous hitter that's ever lived. That was the scenario in 2012 with Scutaro, who had toiled in anonymity, however you
Yeah,
say that.
there you go.
But I feel like Kike Hernandez is the same guy. You hear analysts break down his swing, and it is suddenly the perfect baseball swing that is uh, impossible to get balls by him when he's swinging like this. So it's just the numbers he's been putting up are just incredible, and I mean, who saw this coming out of Kike Hernandez? Apparently, not even the Dodgers, as they gave up on him in the offseason. So I don't know if you notice those same parallels or if that's just my paranoid mind always
No, I think. Well,
my damaged brain from dealing with Scutaro
I feel like
9 years ago.
every year in the postseason, there's unlikely heroes. I
Yeah.
mean, dude, we have to. I mean, who was like? Well, think about like Kyle Schwarber coming back from injury for the
Yeah.
Cubs, and
That's as
then you had
legendary as it gets.
Jeff Blum for the
Yeah.
for the White Sox. I mean, like there's just like you need those guys because it's like an ambush. It's just unexpected. He's coming up in the lineup and you're like, I don't have to worry about this guy, and he's jacking balls over the Green Monster. I
Yeah.
mean, for game-winning home runs or game-winning doubles off the wall. I mean, it's just like,
Well, and that's part of what makes baseball endlessly entertaining and fascinating. That you,
exactly.
you can't predict this shit, and it's so great. That's what makes every postseason such a blast. So